Captain RAPP is considered one of the early West Coast hip-hop, electro, rap pioneers. His musical career started around 1981 when he signed to an indie label in Los Angeles called Rappers RAPP Records. He is best known for Bad Times on the label Saturn Records. The themes of Bad Times are socially conscious, unemployment, AIDS, Salvadoran Civil War, nuclear war, and many other situations that was going on in the late 70s, early 80s. This was very unusual for the early West Coast scene, which was more party-oriented at that time. This song was definitely before its time, and it goes to show that the West Coast was doing some shit early on, too. The song ended up reaching number 23 on the Billboard dance charts. Quite the feat for a West Coast act at the time. Captain RAPP had a very interesting career, and I got the chance to interview him to discuss it. In this first clip, we discuss West Coast hip-hop in the late 70s. We talk about Captain RAPP writing his first song in 1981, and we talk about the Sugar Hill Gang's first show in Los Angeles not quite going as planned.
Well, I guess the first song, I believe I recorded it in I think it was 81.
Okay, so it was 81.
I think it was 1981.
And we're talking
I think
the
it was
Gigolo
1981. Rap. Right, exactly. So that was the first, and it was kind of ironic how I even got involved with that. That was actually a song that my partner at the time, Michael Califani, it was Michael Smith,
Disco
changed
Daddy.
to Michael Califani. There you go, a.k.a. Disco Daddy. And I met him at a club, and that's kind of how it started. We met at the club. Matter of fact, he was doing a show for welcoming Magic Johnson to the Lakers, and that's how I met him in L.A. I've always been involved in music in some kind of way, whether it was just listening and writing and, really good at poetry and stuff like that. And so when I remember driving down the street one day in Long Beach, and Sugar Hill came on, Sugar Hill record, Rapper's Delight. And when that record came on, it blew me away. Mm-hmm. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is it right here. And so what's ironic is I was even able to meet those guys. Matter of fact, we did a big show in L.A. On Crenshaw with those guys. So it was me and Disco Daddy against, I guess opening up for the Sugar Hill Gang. And it was crazy because actually the first time that we performed with them, they were booed. And we got, they gave us love out there in L.A. It was crazy.
So Sugar Hill Gang was booed in L.A.?
It was crazy.
Do you remember what club that was? I'm familiar with all those old clubs.
It wasn't a club. I'm gonna tell you what happened. They had a show where they blocked off Crenshaw, somewhere around. I want to say. I remember there was a record store, VIP record store in L.A. Cletus Anderson had the store, and they blocked off. It seemed like 10 or 12 blocks long, and the blocks. It was unbelievable because the streets were packed, and we were up on a riser. And matter of fact, we at the time, Disco Daddy and I only had Gigolo Groove and Sugar Hill Gang. They had 3 or 4 songs, I think, at the time. And it was crazy because we went on and the crowd was ridiculous. I guess it was good to be at home to realize how much love they showed us out there. I guess back then, not realizing there was a difference in the West Coast and East Coast vibe. But what's ironic is after that, I became friends with Big Bank and Master G, and it was great.
In the last clip, Captain RAPP talked about his partner in rhyme, Disco Daddy. Let's talk about Disco Daddy, another early West Coast rap pioneer. Disco Daddy got his start apparently by entering a local rap contest hosted by rap station KPFJ at the Carolina West Disco nightclub in LA. I know all of my people in their 50s and 60s recognize those names. KPFJ, Carolina West. I'm not that old, but I do have friends who are 15, 20 years older than me who have shared some really good stories about KPFJ, the radio station, who some say arguably played hip-hop before K-Day in Los Angeles, and Carolina West Disco Nightclub. I heard it used to go down over there. But story goes, Disco Daddy lost the first round to an artist named T-Ray, who later became Ice-T. He allegedly beat the young Ice-T in a follow-up contest. After that, he was approached by Duffy Hooks and offered a recording contract with RAPP Records. Disco Daddy appeared alongside Captain Rap on a song called Gigolo Rap, which is credited with very little, if any, argument from West Coast pioneers. It is credited as the first authentic West Coast hip-hop track. The very first. The record became a local success. The Gigolo Rap was released in 1991 on RAPP Records. It heavily referenced Rick James's Give It To Me, Baby, Give It To Me. While influential regionally, the record did not have major national chart success, or at least nothing documented in any of the sources I found. It is primarily cited as a local underground hit in the Los Angeles West Coast scene. This is real West Coast hip-hop history right here, folks. But let's get back to my interview with Captain Rap, West Coast rap pioneer. In this next clip, we discuss gangs in Long Beach and Los Angeles and the uprise of crack, which led to him eventually writing the classic song, Bad Times.
Well, see, so being in Long Beach and even in LA, you could see it. You could see the transition. And so I just remember seeing, the gang situation was crazy, and in the part of Long Beach that I was actually in, I was in an area that they call Central Long Beach, but I was around 21st Street and actually 21st and Hill. And the crazy thing is, so as I was living there, Snoop wasn't far from there. My brother lived on Cedar, and Snoop lived around the corner from my brother as a little kid. So I remember everybody over there. Snoop, Warren, Nate, everybody was in that kind of area a little bit. When I look back at it, I think about all the young people that lost their lives. I remember that. I remember the police coming through the neighborhood and jumping out of cars and getting into fights with people and trying to make arrests. And I remember the crack epidemic. I remember even around that time, not just crack, but Sherm was really big then
PCP
too.
Was huge. Yeah, PCP.
Oh,
was
big
huge.
time.
Yeah.
So I remember cats doing that and flipping out and all of that. And I used to come out of my apartment, and I would always walk past everybody, and they would always look at me like, "What is this cat up to?" I remember that. Cats would even ask me that. Why wasn't I involved? I just couldn't see. It wasn't anything in it for me. I wanted more out of life than what I saw.
Shout out to Captain Rap. I'm going to take this time to ask you all to hit that like button. Go on and smash that like button. I really need your help. Just please hit that like button. It lets the algorithm know I exist, so it pushes my videos out to more people. It's hard out there for a P right now in the YouTube streets, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone's views are low. It's not just mine. Everyone's views are low. So the way that you can help me is by sharing the show, definitely hitting that like button. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. One of the main reasons I started this channel, I had a couple of reasons, but one of the main ones was I wanted to keep West Coast hip-hop alive. I want to give flowers to people who don't get flowers, because we have our own history out here on the West Coast, our own history that needs to be told, and that's why I'm here. So if you appreciate that, please hit that subscribe button. And shout out to Captain Rapp once again. Let's get back to the interview, though. In this clip, we discuss LL Cool J performing at Fatburger with Uncle Jam's Army. We also discuss Captain Rapp meeting Dr. Dre and Alonzo Williams, my co-host, my homeboy, for the first time. We also discuss him recording Bad Times and working with none other than Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Oh, and he almost got signed to Motown. Let's go.
I remember even LL's first time coming to LA. I remember meeting LL when he was 16 at Fatburgers and performing with Uncle Jam's Army.
Yeah,
that was great, man. Those were to me some of the best times to be in hip hop for me. Every time I think about that, I go, it was a wonderful time.
Yeah, God, it sounds like it. And Alonzo Williams is a mutual friend of ours. I said, hey, I'm interviewing Captain Rapp. Anything you could tell me about him? He's like, you know Alonzo, so I'm going to try to say it in his way.
Right.
He was the pretty motherfucker with the green eyes that got all the bitches.
The crazy thing is I remember back then, meeting me and Dre met, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so me and Dre were hanging a little bit, and I remember going to his house and the whole bit back then. I think Dre was there, and Michelet was there, and so was Sir Jinx. He was there. They were all in the same spot. And then Dre was like, let's go to Lonzo's house. So I met Lonzo kind of through Dre. And we've kept in contact all those years.
How did the song Bad Times come about?
We were actually in the midst of getting signed by Motown, Disco Daddy and I. Okay? So there was this big, the labels were kind of rushing us, but Motown was showing a lot of interest just because the Gigolo Groove, and they even gave us at the time the rights to use the Rick James instrumental. So it was this big thing because the way it was produced, I remember telling them I wasn't really happy with the production because I wanted it to be better. I wanted the song, and the song, when we would go to the clubs, the song would just kill them.
Mm-hmm.
And we were involved with Duffy Hooks, and Duffy used to work for I don't know if you know Duffy, but Duffy Duffy used to work for Enjoy, Sylvia Robinson, and Joy Robinson out of New York, and he had worked on the Enjoy side, so he brought that record label knowledge to L.A., and that's how he came up with the Rapper's Rap record. We were the first ones to be released on that label. And so, long story short, so all of a sudden, I was kind of disappointed with the way things were working. I just felt like things could have been better. So I remember had a girlfriend that lived in Colorado, and I told her, I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to come out, and we just going to hang in Colorado, and I was going to start doing whatever I was going to do out there. I was actually leaving the music thing, right? And so then I get to Colorado, and I'm there maybe 4 or 5 months, and I get a call, and this brother calls me up, and he says, hey, I want to know if you'd come back. I got something I want you to do. Would you do something for me? He says, and I'll pay you, blah, blah, blah. And so when he told me what he would pay me, and I said, well, what do you want me to do? He says, I got a track. I want to know if you can write something to the track. So when I listened to the track, it was really a instrumental track from Rich Kaysen. And Rich Kaysen had done 2001 Boogie and some other things. And Rich was actually a friend of mine as well. And so when they sent me the track and I wrote to the track, before I wrote, though, I asked them, I said, is there anything you want specific to this track? And all they could say is, we want something that talks about life. That's how they would put it. We want some life. So I said, okay. So what I did is I flew back to Long Beach, and I would sit out on 21st Street and just watch. Mm-hmm. I would just watch.
Makes sense.
And then and I would watch it, and I'd go in the house, and I'd write some stuff, and I'd come back out. And actually, Bad Times took me, because I wanted it to be really good and not really realizing what might happen with it, it took me about 3 weeks to write the lyrics, the hook and everything. Mm-hmm. And so after I wrote it, And then I remember going into the studio to lay it down, but I felt like something was missing. Now, if you want to know how the Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis part came in, I'm on a corner. I'm standing at a corner in Hollywood, and this young lady standing next to me, and I started talking to her. And as we were talking, she says, "Well, where are you going?" I said, "I'm headed to the studio." And so we just kept a little conversation. And finally, she says, "Well, I manage a couple of guys, but I don't know if you would know who they are." And I said, "Who are they?" And she said, "Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis." And I said, "What's your name?" Her name is Dina Andrews. So Dina, who I still talk to this day, she ended up giving me the information, and we called them. They showed up, and all Jimmy did, it was crazy because they just wanted to hear the track first before I did anything. They just wanted to hear the track, and then, man, it was magic. That's all I can tell you. It was like being able to watch two of the baddest cats that ever laid music go to work. And here's what's ironic. To me, this is even more ironic. My birthday is on June the 6th, and so is Jimmy's. Our birthday is the exact same day. We're different years, but the same day. So I would say that was something else that was kind of crazy. But and the last thing is that because I had worked this song in my head so long, so much for those 3 weeks, I didn't even have to go into the studio with anything in lyrics, like on paper or in a phone or anything. It was all in my head, and I did the whole song in one take. Nice. It was like they might have thrown some ad-libs in there, but everything that was there was basically one take. It was like, it was unbelievable. And Jimmy, after I did it, then he was like, "Man, I want to put this in there. I want to put that in there." And I'm just telling you, man, I always tell people that was one of the best memories I've ever had. There's a few people that I've worked with in my life, music-wise, that I always say it was just a pleasure working with them, or even being in that vibe with them. So when the song was released, so I took the song to Greg Mack. Okay. I remember I took the song to Greg Mack, and I remember Greg Mack, we talked, and like I said, even to this day, he's a good friend of mine as well. But I said, "Hey, Greg, listen to this song and let me know what you think." And Greg was blown away. He was like, "Captain, I got to play this song. This song is unbelievable." It was like that for him. And so then the first, I would say one of the first places to play the record, it was in Flint, Michigan.
There you
go. Okay, it was in Flint, Michigan. And when they played it in Flint, I'm telling you, the information I would get was like, everybody wanted me to come to Flint to perform because it was crazy in Flint. And it just blew up like that. I remember
no rhyme or reason,
looking
right?
at man, it was. I'm just telling you, I couldn't. Yeah. There was no place I could go without somebody saying, "Man, you did that song. That song is." I would hear that all the time.
So let's take a look at this 45 for my young friends out there who don't know what a 45 is. A 45 is a small disc that we used to play on a record player. You'd put a little thing in the middle of it. I don't remember what that thing was called, but you put it in the middle so the record doesn't go back. Oh, you kids don't even know what I'm talking about. I don't even know why I'm trying to explain to you what a 45 is. Look at the disc on my screen right now. Go ahead, look at your phone and look at that disc on the screen. That's right. Let's take a look. That's called a 45, kids. 45 RPMs, I think, is repetitions per minute. I can't remember. It's been so long. But yes, that is a 45. Let's take a look at this 45 with all the information from this legendary song, Bad Times. I gathered as much information as I could regarding this specific record, so we're going to go over it, starting from the top. Arranged and performed by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Now, Captain Rapp did discuss this during the interview. The involvement of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis is so interesting to me. In 1983, they were still early in their career. And they're based out of Minneapolis. They're not even LA guys, but they were doing some work in LA. But it's very dope that Captain Rapp had that connection to this legendary production team. I mean, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Janet Jackson, need I say more? So yeah, that's huge. All right, so let's go to the left of the disc on your screen. It says, special thanks to Kimberly Ball, guest vocalist. I don't have much info on Kimberly Ball, but she definitely brought half of the vibe to the song, and it wouldn't be the same without her. So shout out to Kimberly Ball, whoever you are, wherever you are in the world. I hope your life turned out how you wanted it to. It was recorded at Studio Masters by Tavi Mote. I don't know anything about Tavi Mote other than he did some of the vocals on the song. Studio Masters is a recording master studio in Los Angeles that was founded in 1973 by husband and wife team Linda and Randy Wood. Their address was 8312 Beverly Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90048. Lots of local acts recorded at this studio. It was one of the only studios at the time that was equipped with a Newman disc cutting system. I don't know what that is, but something tells me it has something to do with editing. Have you ever heard the term, it was left on the cutting room floor? That's because back in the day, we didn't have these fancy systems like I have right now to where I can edit something and I can have a video out to you in an hour. Back in the day, they had things called cutting systems, and you had to precisely cut and edit whatever part out of the song you didn't like, and you had to paste it. When I say cut and paste, I'm not talking about on a computer. You literally had to grab a pair of scissors, grab some tape, cut that motherfucker, and paste some shit on it. So it was a whole different time. You kids do not know how good you have it. So yes, Saturn Records released the project. Saturn Records was a sub-label associated with VIP Records. VIP Records, for anyone who doesn't know, is a record store chain and a distributor founded by the legendary Cletus Anderson. He had a few different locations throughout Los Angeles, and you might remember Snoop standing on top of the VIP Records, the one specifically in Long Beach that is still there to this day. They just moved it a couple doors down. I was just there 3 months ago. I bought a couple of hats there. But VIP Records, he was standing on top of the roof in his first video, What's My Name? That is VIP Records. But VIP Records also housed Magic Disc and Saturn Records. So shout out to Cletus Anderson. He is definitely a legend, and I'm going to do a show on him one day because his story is amazing. But Cletus Anderson produced the song under his Do What You Feel Productions imprint. It was mastered by A&M Studios by Brian Grundman. Brian Grundman is a longtime mastering engineer with a big reputation. Bad Times, I Can't Stand It, in parentheses, was a 6 minute and 57 second long song, as you can see right there on the disc. 6 minutes and 57 seconds is a long ass song. It was mixed by Larrabee Sound Studios in Los Angeles by Barry Rudolph. And it was, quote, certified and approved by one DJ Andre. Who the heck is DJ Andre? Well, I'll tell you, for those who don't know, DJ Andre went on to have sort of a successful career. As an artist, you might recognize Dr. Dre. That's right, DJ Andre was Dr. Dre's name early on in his career. That's what he went by. But lastly, it says thanks again to Daniel Sofer and Duffy Hooks III. I don't know much about Daniel Sofer, but Duffy Hooks was, amongst other things, a legend, first of all. But he was the owner and founder of Rappers Rap Records, which is who Captain Rap was signed to. And lastly, I want to give a shout out to Disco Daddy. Shout out to his partner in rhyme who joined him on the song Gigolo Rap. And I really hope you guys appreciated this. I know I did. I love talking old school West Coast hip hop. A lot of people think West Coast hip hop started with NWA or Ice-T. Nah, man, we've been doing it almost since day one. If not, I'm going to go out on a limb and say some of the elements of hip hop started in Los Angeles. So dare I say we started hip hop? I'm not fully convinced it was started in New York. Let's just say that. But what do you guys think about my interview with Captain Rapp? Please comment down below. What do you think? Did you even know about Captain Rapp? Go show him some love and stream some of that. Stream that Bad Times. It's a good song, especially if you like that old 80s electro hip-hop rap sound, which is what we were doing before gangster rap took over on the West Coast. But shout out to Captain Rapp, shout out to his partner in rhyme, Disco Daddy, and most importantly, shout out to you for checking out the show. I do appreciate each and every one of you. And I'm going to ask you one more time before you bounce to hit that like button. If you have not already, please hit that like button. If this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.